Good morning. So we are continuing the lesson doping, and the topic we are discussing type of ergogenic aids. Ergogenic aids we have discussed in previous video in detail. As I can repeat it, then for you can remind it. Ergogenic aids are substance, devices, or practices that enhance an individual's energy use, production, or recovery. Stretching and weight training are physical ergogenic aids. Visualization and hypnosis are mental ergogenic aids. Lighter weight training shoes and better designed golf clubs are mechanical ergogenic aids. But perhaps the most commonly recognized form of ergogenic aids are dietary supplement. And we have discussed various ergogenic aids. Psychological ergogenic aids we have discussed in detail. Mechanical ergogenic aids we have discussed in detail. Pharmacological ergogenic aids we have discussed, and psychological ergogenic aids we have discussed, and nutritional ergogenic aids we have discussed. In psychological ergogenic aids we have discussed hypnosis, music, and other motivational activities which can help the person to improve their performance. Mechanical ergogenic aids we have discussed clothing, equipments, heat and cold applications, improved body mechanics, and environment, that is playing condition and surfaces. And pharmacological ergogenic aids we have discussed. So various drugs and medicines, caffeine, nicotine, amphetamines. Some of the ergogenic aids are considered illegal. Some of they are allowed. So various the substances which we have discussed, prohibited substances in post, these all substances are the pharmacological aids. Pharmacological aids, these are the medicines and drugs. And then we have discussed some recreational drugs, some prescription drugs. Physiological aids we have discussed blood doping, erythropoietin, altitude training, and glycerol. Nutritional aids we have discussed bee pollen, carbohydrate loading, coenzymes, creatine phosphate, and water or special beverage. This we will discuss today. So this is a kind of nutritional aid. So the nutritional aid we are discussing today, water or special beverages. So the water is essential part of our diet, component of our diet. Water causes bloating, which will suppress thirst, and therefore drinking. Water contains no carbohydrate, no electrolytes, and it also increases urine output. And water is needed to fulfill certain amount of minerals, the requirement of the minerals in the body, and it also keeps our body hydrated. It is not an illegal ergogenic aid, it is allowed in sports, during the sports, and that's why the water is also an ergogenic aid. This is nutritional ergogenic aids. Mostly the nutritional ergogenic aids are not banned. They are not prohibited in sports activities. So this is the another ergogenic aid, nutritional ergogenic aid, water. So which has a various roles in our body. It also maintains temperature of the body, osmoregulation. It also keeps our body hydrated. It also fulfills the requirement of certain minerals in our body. And intake of water during the sports, it also helps the athletes to prevent from tiredness and cramps, and it prevents them from dehydration. So hence this way the water is also helping to enhance their performance. The performance of athlete is enhanced by the water. But one main thing is there, water intake increase the urine output. So in case of sports, as the person is taking part in intensive activities, so this water is eliminated from the body in the form of sweating. So that time the urine output is slightly decreased because the water is eliminated from the body in the form of sweating. So this way the water helps to enhance the performance of an athlete. So this is the another nutritional aid, water. And special beverages are there. Special beverages, soft drink, sport drinks. Sport drinks are there, these enhance the performance during exercise, have good absorbability, as they are isotonic, meaning they have a similar composition to the body, to that body's fluid. So the sports drinks are provided to the sports persons, which are easily absorbed by the systems, and they are similar to the body fluid. Isotonic fluids, that's why they are known as isotonic fluids. Because of their good absorbability, quickly replace fluid lost by sweating and supply a boost of carbohydrate. So this is the sport drink. Such water is there. We know this is very essential component of our food, which gives us a lot of benefit indirectly. It helps to main the functions of the water, that osmoregulation, keeping body hydrated, and also helps in electrolyte balance. Then sports drinks are there. Various brands are available in the market, sports drinks. These are the drinks which gives energy, carbohydrate. They contain carbohydrate, glucose, and certain other minerals. So they also fulfill the requirement of water. They keeps body hydrated and boost the carbohydrate level in the body. And another option is the ergogenic aids, nutritional ergogenic aids, that is juices. Juice are hypertonic. That means they have more carbohydrate and glucose molecules per ml. They may be nutritious but are not a good choice for hydration, as sports drinks and water is keeping body hydrated, but Juice also helps keeping body hydrated, but these are not a good choice for keeping the body hydrated. The fructose of the fruit sugar in the juice reduces the rate of water absorption. So the cells do not get hydrated quickly. Hypertonic fluid should be taken along with isotonic solutions or in dilute form. They should normally be taken after exercise. So that's why the juices are recommended after the activity, after the exercise, not during the activity. And another one is the carbonated beverages. Carbonated beverages are, they cause dehydration. They have caffeine, thus have a diuretic effect, which means that they increase the urine output. Also, they have a bloating effect and give a feeling of fullness. This inhibits the natural thrust mechanism of an athlete. That's why carbonated beverages are also not provided in some of the sports activities, because they kill the thrust of the athlete and they cause dehydration. The juices you can see in the picture, various type of juices are provided during the after the sports activities to the sports person. So then we have another topic, that is the legal substances and their behavior. Some of the substances, these are legal, like I was discussing in the previous slides also. Legal substances like creatine phosphate, equivocal. Creatine phosphate is an organic compound that provides a quick source of energy for muscle fibers to contract when they need an initial burst of energy. The creatine phosphate is also known as instant energy form for the muscles. This is stored in the muscles, and whenever muscles are taking part in the activity, so then this energy is used for instant as a instant energy to perform activities. So creatine phosphate, CP, the short form is CP. This is also uh, allowed and legal substance, legal supplement. Caffeine. Caffeine is a substance that is the component of coffee, the substance that is found especially in coffee and tea, then that make you feel more awake, more alert. That we have discussed in the substance, prohibited substances. But most of the sports, the caffeine is considered legal. So this makes the body alert and awake. So these are the substances which are legal, considered legal during the sports activities. Now, the doping control procedure. Testing of prohibited substances is mandatory in the field of sport. An athlete can be called for dope testing at any time in or out of the competition, that we have discussed in previous slide, previous videos also. This is WADA, World Anti-Doping Agency, and NADA, National Anti-Doping Agency. They can check any athletes anytime, anywhere, without any prior notice for doping, for dope testing. So the test, the procedures of the tests are there, the urine test and blood testing. The urine test is there. Sample is provided in the supervision of coach or doctor. Sample is taken in presence of an official of same gender. Sample is split into two and sealed by the athlete. Code is provided by the officials for the particular sample. After sampling, medical declaration is done by the athletes. Samples are sent to the registered lab where sample A is tested. If sample is tested positive, athlete is notified. Athlete or his representative is authorized to be present at the time of unsealing of the sample B and testing. So, this is the procedure of urine testing. Sample of urine is taken in the presence of doctor and coaches, and the athlete, in front of the athlete is sealed for the confidential process, and this is then further tested in the registered laboratory. And if the result is positive, if the person got there are the in the testing, then if the doctors or the laboratory persons come to know that the athlete has used any substance, so that is considered positive. If there is no any record of drugs and any prohibited substances in the urine, so that is called negative. So whatever the result is there of the sample, that test is notified to the athlete and their representative. Then we have another one, is the blood testing. Blood testing, it is used to detect EPO or artificial oxygen carriers, EPO, erythropoietin. Two samples are taken in the presence of an officer. Two samples are taken because if there is any doubt in the one sealed sample, another sample can be checked. And if there is any doubt of infringement of the rules by the athletes or by the officials and by the doping detectors. So whatever the doubt is there, so for that purpose, the second sample is there, B sample, which is checked in the presence of athlete. So that's why two samples are taken in the presence of an official. Samples are sealed in the presence of athlete. Same procedure as mentioned for the urine test is followed. In blood testing, 1 or 2 unit of the blood from the athlete's body is taken, and this procedure of blood testing is done in the presence of the doctors in the laboratory. So 1 or 2 unit of the blood from the athlete's body is taken out, and the plasma and blood cells are separated, and the athlete is kept under the supervision for few weeks, and after that these blood cells which are separated from the plasma, the blood cells are preserved by keeping in saline solution, and after some time when the athlete is kept under the supervision of the dietitians and the doctors by providing nutritious food, then after certain time certain weeks. These blood cells which are preserved are again reinfused in the body of the athletes and checked either there is the similarity of the blood cells which are formed in the body of the athletes naturally and which are reinjected in the body of the athletes. If they are same, so then there is no doping will positive will be considered, doping will be negative. If there is difference in the blood cells which are formed in the body and which are we have preserved, if there is not similarity in both the blood cells, so then it will be considered the positive doping. This is the process of the blood doping. Another process of the blood testing, in which the components of the blood are checked in the laboratory. Direct blood test is there, in which the blood is checked in the laboratory, tested in the laboratory for their components. The components of the blood is checked. Either there is any substance, illegal substance or not. If there is any presence of any illegal substance, that doping will be considered positive. This will be notified further to the athlete. If any illegal substance is absent in the blood content when it is tested in the laboratory, so it will be negative, so that will also be notified to the athletes. So the in competition and out competition doping. So in competition doping is there. It is a testing period commencing 12 hours prior to the event. So this is done by most of the event organizers who are organizing any sports event. So they arrange the doping test before the competitions. So it is the testing period commencing 12 hours prior to the event for the athlete who is to complete sample is taken for testing. So 12 hours before the test is commenced. In competition testing is at international and national level both, that I was discussing. This is decided by the organizational committee, the event organizers. A sample doping control organization is responsible for in competition doping. It is for the detection of anabolic steroids, stimulants, and blood doping hormones. So the organizing committee, the event organizers inform the WADA and the officials who are responsible for detecting the doping. So then before 12 hours of the event, this doping is completed. Mostly like in Olympic Games, International Olympic Committee is there who is responsible to conduct these tests with the help of the agencies which are responsible for doping. World Championship, international federations are there which are responsible for conducting the blood doping. Out competition doping. This is in competition. Then out of competition testing. It is the testing of an athlete not in competitions but is associated with the immediate participation in the event. It is initiated and directed by both international and national doping control organizations, World Anti-Doping Agency WADA and National Anti-Doping Agency NADA. So these are responsible, as we have discussed in previous slides also, that they can check any athlete anytime, anywhere without any prior notice. That is out competition doping. So the sports persons are checked for the doping. So a random test is there, which is without any prior notice. An advanced notice test is there, in which the notice is given to the athletes for the doping test. Any place of work, the test can be conducted at any place of the work without any prior notice or with notice, or the WADA can detect or check for the doping any athletes anytime, anywhere. So this all we have discussed about the doping. So doping is use of illegal substances or methods to enhance the performance by an athlete. When any athlete is using these illegal substances and methods which are prohibited in sports, and we have discussed that these substances and methods are revised every year, and this is informed to athlete that these are the revised prohibited substances and methods in sports, so that the sport persons can avoid these substances and methods. And there are agencies, WADA and NADA, World Anti-Doping Agency and National Anti-Doping Agencies, who are responsible worldwide and national level for detecting the doping. The use of doping is strictly prohibited in sports. So a lot about we have the doping we have discussed in this chapter. So we will come with the new topic, new chapter, the next video.